The Blackhawks lose 5-2 to the Utah Hockey Club in Sam Renzel and Oliver Moore's debut. Lots to talk about. Join us next on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use that code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Jay Zawoski. That's Greg Boyson. Mario Tirabassi is on. I got a couple days off here in a row. Sarah's with us on a very busy day here at CHGO Sports as the Sox are playing over there and the Cubs are playing over there. We've got post-game shows up the wazoo, so we're going to get to this one lickety-split. Hawks lose 5-2. They get goals from Ryan Donato
not that fast.
and Joe Valeno in this one. And, boy, 40 minutes of entertaining hockey. And then, I don't know, man. I said to you when we got here, we leave during a second intermission to head over to the studios. And I said, was there like a carbon monoxide leak in the Hawks locker room? Because they looked dead ass tired. I know they started the period shorthanded, which is not great, but man, were they out of gas, out of energy? They look completely like a different team.
I don't know if it was, all the excitement of the day, and you got some young guys that
they're all tuckered out.
Yeah, they needed an extra Capri Sun, but look at this. I mean, you got to imagine that by the third period, guys like Renzel and Moore are on just pure adrenaline and fumes.
Yeah,
it's been a crazy day, crazy week. Their college season ends in controversial fashion. I did get a kick out of Sam Rinzel yesterday after practice saying, I can't talk about it. Yeah, you can. You don't go there anymore.
You're not going to get suspended, buddy.
The NCAA isn't going to suspend you. You're an NHL player now. Yeah. Call it like it is. Let us know exactly what you felt about that play. And then they come here for their first practice, and they're in the game today. It's like I think, tomorrow is likely a day off. They're going to need a day to kind of just ground themselves again.
Yeah.
I mean, this probably just doesn't feel like real life right now.
I can't imagine. And you think about, I know that the two of us are also supreme athletes like Oliver Moore and Sam Renzel.
Absolutely.
And when you have a day that is adrenaline filled for whatever reason it might be,
when you come
down is a crash.
You crash and burn pretty quickly. I mean, you talk about that third period. When you look at it statistically, I mean, the Hawks had 11 shot attempts to the Utahns 15, which that's not terrible, but then it was only an 8-7 shot advantage for Utah. Again, that doesn't sound bad, but when you look at it, 11 scoring chances for Utah to just 5 for the Blackhawks. That's the stat that means more when you're trying to break down if a period was even or not. How many scoring chances did one side have?
Right.
And it was all tilted to Utah, who pretty much scored the same 5 goals today.
They really did.
Shot from the point, moving screens in front. Soderblom can't see it. Blackhawks aren't clearing they're not giving him anything to look at. It happened 5 times today.
Yeah, Sean in the chat says, stop if you heard this before, but there was too much passing in this game. It wasn't just that. Everything was backwards. Stop passing the puck backwards. And I get it on the power play. They are married to the slingshot power play. It will be the absolute death of me, but they're going to keep doing it. But man, even at 5-on-5, stop moving the puck backwards. Yes, there's a time and a place for it, of course. But it felt like every instance they had, somebody was afraid to advance the puck. Man, get it over the red line, get it over center ice, get it deep, and go win a race. Now, you've got some speed on the team. You added Oliver Moore. You've got young guys in the lineup, top to bottom. Go win a race. Go win a puck. I'm so tired of the backwards ass puck movement that this team does. Oh, it's so annoying.
It's very annoying. But again, I think it's kind of like on the power play, you've got now Korchinski and Levshunov out there. We saw this with Korchinski last season, where it's kind of like, yes, the coaches says the first play is the slingshot. So, okay, I'm going to make that play every time. Not, and we even saw it on the one Utah goal. Vlasic passed backwards. It was an even strength, but he was skating up and then passed backwards, and Levshunov wasn't ready for it because, like most people, probably wasn't expecting him to pass backwards when he had 3 forwards ahead of him.
Yeah.
It's a bad habit this team has, and that's, part of that is coaching. Part of that is the forwards on this team, even under Luke Richardson. They do not do a good enough job helping out their defensemen. They just want to get up the ice. How many times have we seen a defenseman get a puck below the dots and then look, and there's no one to pass to because everybody's already left the zone, and all of a sudden he's got 2 forecheckers on him, and 5 seconds later it's a goal.
All you can do is hope to
have to
get the
help.
puck out.
You can't leave your defenseman on an island. You have to leave the zone as a team. You can't let one guy do it. That's coaching. Luke Richardson wasn't good at coaching that, and Anders Sorensen, they're having the same problems. You have to give your defenseman help when trying to exit the zone.
And so much what we're seeing too, and it is the symptom of a team that lacks confidence and lacks now experience, right? Like when we've heard about this from Alex Vlasic, and he's going to join us Wednesday, by the way, if you want to set a reminder at 2:30. Tuesday, my bad. Yes, Tuesday at 2:30. When things are not going well, things get overcomplicated. Guys try to do too much. So when the offense is struggling, when you're not seeing them shoot, when you're not seeing them stay in the zone and defend, it's because they have this desire to go make something happen, but it almost never works. You've got to stay structured. We've said this time and time and time again. When the Hawks are playing their best, they're playing a simple game. They're playing a structured game. We saw it early in this game. I love the way they played the first. Mm-hmm. I love the way they played most of the second.
They were fast. They were confident.
Then they completely lost the storyline. They lost the plot in the third period because they were down 2. It completely changed the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're right. The first 2 periods were okay.
Somebody's long ass hair is on this microphone.
It's not me. I only sit in this chair. There's only a couple of suspects.
It was
and it
literally in my mouth as I was talking, and I powered through it.
All right. That's because you're a hockey analyst.
That's right.
You play through discomfort. No, you're right. The first 2 periods are really good. Even though there were no goals in that first period, the Hawks came out fast. They came out decisive. They were quick in their decisions.
Yeah.
They were confident in their decisions, and they looked like a different team out there. The speed is noticeable with the new players that you have out there. Even before Moore and Rinzel debuted today, the additions of Korchinski and Levshunov, Nazar, those guys are great skaters. That's why they got drafted. Now you put Renzel out there who – man, the kid looks so good. It's one game, I know.
Oh no, I'm ready to call it.
I mean, yeah.
My Blackhawks beat tomorrow is going to be so unhinged, guys.
Yeah. Which statue do we take down first? Nikita or Hull for the win?
That's an easy answer for me. You'll have to ask me twice.
Get that number 6 banner ready, my friend. It's going up in the rafters.
Just turn the whole banner upside down.
And Oliver Moore, I mean, he is noticeable.
He is a spicy little son of a bitch out there, isn't he? He is everywhere.
He is like, and one thing I loved Grant, I didn't watch a ton of Minnesota games.
You did?
Then I didn't. A few. They're hard to get on TV here. They're on CHSN too much. But one thing I did notice about him is that when he is coming back on the back check and he's getting into the defensive zone, his stick is always on the ice and moving. That is so awesome to see for such a young player. And Anders Sorensen mentioned that yesterday after practice, saying he's got really good habits already. So he's probably like, man, I don't even have to coach this.
That's coaching, though.
But that's playing at Minnesota.
Yes, you go to a hockey factory like Minnesota or like Sacha Boisvert,
Right.
North Dakota.
That's why these kids can go right to the NHL because they don't need the AHL because they've learned how to play good, fundamentally sound hockey at one of the top 3 hockey programs ever in college.
Well, I mean, if Frank Saravalli, I don't know when this was posted. It was Blackhawks Focus on Twitter posted the video. I didn't see where it came from. But Frank Saravalli thinks that Sam Rinzel is not going to play a single AHL game in his life. That he is a full-time NHL player. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time on those two in the next segment. We want to finish up this game, but that's a big part of why not only do you draft for player makeup, you're looking for speed, you're looking for certain attributes in a guy, but if you're on the fence between this guy and that guy, when this guy goes to Minnesota or this guy goes to Little Sisters of the Poor, which is always a school that my football coach has referenced, team we can never beat.
I know.
You take the guy from
every state has at least one of those.
Yes, you take him from the pedigree school or the pedigree junior program or whatever it might be.
If you're drafting, if you got a guy, similar skill sets, one played for the London Knights and the other played for the North Bay Battalion. No offense, North Bay Battalion. Yeah. You're going to take the London Knight, most likely.
Correct. Yes. I think it's
or if Panger's the GM, if it's an Ottawa 67, you're taking that guy.
No, Mark Bell was an Ottawa 67. That worked out for a little bit.
For a few games.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're right. They're more, and I think to a bigger extent, Renzel were kind of plug and play, ready to go. Let's continue this game conversation though before we wax poetic about those two. Man, I really liked Soderblom's start in this game. And then there were a couple late. I know that one that was the Yamamoto goal where the puck hit him in the head and then he had to kind of react and make the save. I get it.
Yeah, it hit him in the right in the mask, and I'm sure that kind of startles you, and you can't exactly have good rebound control when it comes careening off your face mask at 90 miles an hour. So okay. Otherwise, the 4 goals he gave up, there really wasn't anything he could have done because everyone either was deflected right in front, either off of Kevin Korchinski or Alex Kerfoot, or just he couldn't see because he had white jerseys either already stationary in front of him or crisscrossing in front of him. They took away his eyes. And a goalie that can't see the puck is usually not a successful goalie.
But, I mean, that's, again, I'm so tired of doing this damn shoot the puck show because I feel like we've done it nearly 82 times this year. But they should go to school on it. Like, that's it. Like, watch what the other teams are doing. The better teams are doing. That's how Utah won this game. Sergachev's like, yoink, little puck right through traffic. Sometimes it gets tipped, sometimes it doesn't, but either way, it's in the net. And this was one of those games where people were screaming, and people always scream to shoot, but my God, the opportunities were there, and they just passed them up over and over and over again. And it was frustrating. And again, it's part of being an experience. It's part of trying to make something happen, trying to defer to the veterans on the team like Frank Nazar and Alex Vlasic. You're trying to do what the young players trying to do what they think is right. But, man, there's nothing selfish about scoring a goal. We've said it over and over again.
If I'm Anders Sorensen, I take the video of all 5 goals Utah scored and said, this is what we have to do.
Yeah.
Get guys to the front and just let it rip. Who knows what's going to happen? It might hit off of one of our guys. It might hit off of one of their guys. Nothing may happen, but you have to give it a shot. The deferring was a little too much, but when you look at the overall shot attempts in this game, it's a little encouraging that it's the young guys that were eager to shoot. Sam Rinzel had 6 total shot attempts.
Yeah.
Artem Levchinov had 5 total shot attempts. Frank Nazar had 11 shot attempts, and Connor Bedard, who was guilty of passing more than once when he shouldn't have, he still had 7 shot attempts. So the young kids were at least had a shooter's mentality, and then you can nitpick about this play or that play, but it just seems that like never pass backwards. Again, with the backwards passing where it's like Bedard had the shooting lane and he decided to go across the ice to Ryan Donato.
And then Donato goes
right back to you, and he's covered by that. And I'm sure Kyle Davidson is in his suite saying, stop passing it to Donato. I don't want him to score any more goals.
Yeah.
Every one of those he scores costs me another $100,000. Sometimes you got to be selfish, but we saw it today. But when you go through the actual shot attempt numbers from the kids who are going to be part of this core, I'm not that discouraged by it.
No, you're right. But I think just to kind of put a bow on that conversation, every time Bedard did shoot, it created a problem for Utah.
Yeah.
Where the goalie's like, and it's like bouncing in front of him. Like, that's why his shot is so, not just
the Donato goal was a product of a Bedard shot.
Yeah. And not just is it fast and hard and accurate, but it's tricky. It's hard to read off the stick. Like, those are all the things when they talk about Connor Bedard's generational shot. That's what they're referring to. Use it more. If you've got a look, take it. There's so many opportunities now where even on the power play, he'll be along the left wing, and guys have started to give him a little bit more space now because they're going to school. Like, he doesn't want to shoot. You got a goalie in that reverse VH that Panger always talks about. That top part of the net's open. Shoot it. Take a shot. You're the guy on this team that can make that shot. Go for it. All right, we got to hit the break zone. We got a lot of people watching, but not a lot of people liking. Please do us a favor. Hit that like button for us. Every time you hit the like button, a Blackhawk shoots a puck. That's it. That's how it works. And make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. If you're listening on the podcast, we love you too. Make sure you're following or subscribed on your favorite app. Back with more on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast, powered by Bet365. And light beer just got better. Introducing Sam Adams American Light. It's clean, crisp, and super easy to drink. There's no gimmicks, no fluff. Sam Adams American Light is not your average light beer. It's brewed with 100% American-sourced ingredients from local independent farmers. It's light beer that's made right. It should never feel like a compromise when you're drinking a light beer with Sam Adams American Light. It's not. It's an American classic so smooth, you'll want to crack open another one. It's always Sam. Seasoned light beer just got better. Grab some Sam Adams American Light. Available now at select Chicago retailers. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. And just like light beer, is there anything better than watching Chicago sports at Hooters? I don't think so. That's what makes Hooters so special. They care about their people, the food they serve, their guests, and their community. Hooters is an experience like no other based on years of hard work. And if you need to, sip down the feels after a tough Blackhawks loss, how about $6 cocktails all day, every day? Enjoy an Absolute, Bacardi, or Sauza single mix cocktail for just $6 every day at Hooters. Or try Hooters' legendary margarita. So sweet, so tasty, so cheap. Yep, you guessed it, just $6 all day, every day. At Hooters, originality isn't just one thing, it's everything. Hooters, always an original, often imitated, never duplicated. The original Hooters has been one of a kind since 1983. Hot wings, cold beers, and your favorite cheerleaders, the Hooters girls. 9 out of 10 Hooters girls agree that eating Hooters wings while watching the game will help your team win. Well, that's our problem.
Is that real?
There's only one way to find out. Cheer on your favorite teams from any of the 11.
A graph from The Athletic that supports that?
I think so. You just can't tell what it means. Visit any of their 11 Chicagoland locations like Aurora, Downers Grove, my hometown of Oaklawn, Orland Park, and more. You can even order online for pickup and delivery. Check them out at originalhooters.com. All right, we've got to tell you about the 4th star nominees in this game. The 3 stars, they're all Utahns. We don't care about them. First nominee, Joe Veleno, who scored an absolutely sick goal. He's been a nominee several games in a row here. He's kind of finding his way here. 13:03 of ice time, a shot on goal, 4 shot attempts, also credited with a hit and a block shot. So solid game from him. We also nominated Frank Nazar, 17:18 of ice time, 5 shots on goal. He had another 6 shot attempts. He was really, really good. And, of course, where we're going to start the conversation next, Sam Rinzel, 4 shots on goal, 6 shot attempts, and 2 hits. Great debut for Sam Rinzel. So get your votes in. We'll reveal the winner at the end of the show, but I think I feel pretty confident where this one's going to go.
Probably, yes. Yeah, Joe Veleno's been real good the last 4 or 5 games. Took him a little bit to kind of fit in, and I mean that was a tough situation for him to leave one team on a road trip to join another team on a road trip, and then kind of figure it out. And the Detroit and Blackhawks play a different type of defensive system, so it's going to take a couple games to get acclimated to that. But the last 4 or 5 games, he's been really good, showing off a little bit of offensive talent. He's faster than I thought he was. Good up the middle. Could be a nice, sneaky little pickup. I mean, he's going to be is he under contract next year, or is he in RFA?
Yeah, he's got one more.
So, a 25-year-old
for 2.27.
Sure.
2.275.
I mean,
then he's an RFA.
It's pretty fun to see that Joe Veleno and Sam Rinzel, 2 guys the Blackhawks got for Peter Mrazek, doing well here in
That's
Chicago.
Crazy. Oh, my God.
We got Sam Rinzel for taking on Peter Mrazek, and then we got Joe Veleno for Mrazek, and didn't have to retain any of his salary. But tell me again how Kyle Davidson doesn't know what he's doing.
No. By the way, we gotta give some recognition to Levshunov too for getting that pass between the legs of the Utah defender right on the tape for Veleno. Really good. But let's talk about Renzel. I think Oliver Moore was really good. We saw the things that he's going to bring. But damn, every time number 6 was on the ice, something good was happening. There was a sequence there in the second. He makes a spinorama under pressure, gets the puck free, passes it, gets it back, walks calmly with the puck to create a scoring chance, shoots it. I think it either deflected or went high over the net. The Hawks get a bunch of scoring chances there. Defensively, he's in the right place. I saw him calling out defensive plays, telling his partners like where to be, who to defend, where to stand. He was strong in front of the net. He was winning board battles. I don't know if anyone's more excited about Sam Rinzel than Frank Saravalli, but after one game, I see it, man. Like,
I think Kyle Davidson's probably a wee bit more excited.
The eye test is unreal.
It is.
Like he looked. If you drop someone in from another country and said, "Who's the guy playing his first game today?" Not a single person would have picked number 6.
Probably not. No. He looked like he fit in. Like both him and Moore were very aggressive early on. Their first couple shifts, not tentative in any way.
Yeah.
We had talked early in the game with our pal Bruce Miles and basically saying like that's what you want to see. You want to see a guy that you don't want to see him look scared or nervous, and neither of them did. Rinzel, man, I just remember when he was drafted with that 3rd pick in the first round 3 years ago, and people were like, it might be a bit of a flyer, but it makes sense. It's your first round pick. It's going to be a long-term project. Here we are less than 3 years away, and this kid's in the NHL and has a good shot at staying here permanently. Yep. If he plays like this throughout the season and into training camp, there's no reason to send him to Rockford. Now, again, one game, a lot of things can happen. Film gets out there, teams figure out ways to where his weaknesses are. They'll exploit him, and then he'll have to readjust. But very impressive start. I love the way that he just was like, all right, I'm going to shoot the puck.
Yeah.
Some scoring chances. His skating is exceptional for a kid that size to skate that well this early. I mean, when you think about, 2 years from now, Renzel and Levshunov as your top pairing, I mean, that's crazy good if those kids hit where they're supposed to be. And just to see the added speed and skating that these two brought in today, I put out on Twitter or X, whatever, early in the game, I said this Blackhawks team is going to skate teams out of the building in a couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody then said, oh, you're just being delusional. I'm like, I know speed. Making an observation about how fast this team is not being delusional. I didn't say they're going to win the next 9 Stanley Cups because Sam Rinzel can skate good. I just said this team is going to – that doesn't mean they're going to win games. It's going to help them win games. But this is exactly what Kyle Davidson had been envisioning. He said it if you remember back to Luke Richardson's introductory press conference. They were watching that final between Colorado and Tampa Bay, talking about – look at how these two teams are north-south, fast teams. We want to build this. And then what happens? They draft guys like Frank Nazar and Sam Rinzel and Kevin Korchinski all in the same draft. Oliver Moore. You start getting the speed, and there's more coming. Like they want to be the fastest team in the NHL, and they're definitely heading that way. Not all these guys are going to hit. Not all these guys are going to make it to the NHL, but the guys who have and have been up here, it's encouraging to see that the majority of them are getting here and looking like they belong.
Yeah. Well, it's not just. I also think it's important to clarify too. When you talk about speed or skating ability, rather, it's not just about being fast. It's about efficiently skating. It's about using your stride, like maximizing every stride you take. And I think Renzel demonstrates that really well, where you watch him and you're like, wow, he is just blasting his way down the ice and he's unstoppable. No, but there's not a lot of wasted motion. Mm-hmm. He's weaving through traffic efficiently, knows how to maneuver his body to get into gaps, to get places. I think you saw a lot of the same from Oliver Moore in this game too, where not only is he really fast. Yesterday, Anders Sorensen called him a buzzsaw on the ice, but he knows how to read and predict where the puck is going as opposed to just winning a race to where it is. All of that is so important. And I've just been really impressed with not just Renzel and Moore, but a lot of the young guys. Like Levshinov has a knack too for kind of predicting where the puck's going to go and knowing the angles both when he's defending and when he's got the puck, right? Like his passes are almost always on the money, and he makes some dangerous plays. There's one he made today in the second where he's got the puck behind the Hawks net and just throws it right in front of Soderblom, right in front of him. Passes on the money. The Hawks are off the other way, but it's like, oh, dear God.
Yeah, don't fall in love with that play.
There are some heart attack moments from him.
Yeah.
But when they become fewer and further between, it's going to be great. And remember, Sarah, do we have that graphic of the CHSN put this up, but we didn't want to steal their graphics. So we just stole the idea. The Fountain of Youth graphic we have on the screen here. The Hawks defense. Levshinov's 19, Rinzel's 20, Korchinski's 20, Del Mastro is 22, Kaiser's 22, Vlasic is 23, Crevier is 23, and Spencer Knight is 23. Bedard 19, Moore 20, Nazar 21, Doc 22, Slacker 22, Reichel 22. No one on this list, even Vlasic, even Knight, is a finished product by any means. There is still so much more development to go with these guys, and that's why we have been talking about this forever. Getting the right coach to develop them is so important. But I'll ask you again, no matter how frustrated you are with how the Hawks are going, and Lebowski 5 points out, Nolan Allen is 21. Not on that list because he's not on the current roster. But yes, another one, a 21-year-old defenseman to throw into there. Like, none of them have looked completely overmatched. Have there been moments? Yeah. I think we've seen some moments in Kevin Korchinski's career where you're like, okay, that was a learning experience for him. We're seeing Levshinov learning hard lessons with puck management, those sort of things. But in terms of the ability to play at the NHL level at a young age, all these guys are checking that box to me.
Yeah, they all have a certain amount of confidence or swagger to them. And you need a little bit of that. And then that's going to help them as well. Like, I think the hardest part of getting to a new level, especially the highest level like the NHL, is that mentality that you belong to be there. So the second you start realizing you belong to be there, things get easier for you. But yeah, it's exciting to finally start seeing some of these plans come to fruition. You know, it feels like so long ago we were sitting here on that 2022 draft night, being upset that they traded Alex DeBrincat, you know, walking in here to do that show, to do the live first round show with the Blackhawks having no first round picks.
Right.
And then you get Korchinski and you get Nazar. Remember, we wanted Nazar at number 7, and then we were excited when he fell to 13, and then getting Rinzel. And now today, all three of those guys are on the second power play unit together. It's
unreal.
It's fun.
It's happening quickly.
It's happening a lot quicker than probably envisioned Even the Hawks probably didn't think Rinzel would be in the NHL this quickly.
Oh, no. Rinzel felt to me like a 5-year,
or even
project.
a guy like Oliver Moore. You know, there was even during this year, people were wondering, oh, he should probably go back for his junior year because he doesn't have 20 goals, 30 goals. It's like, well, with Moore, you have to look at the context of just don't look at his stats and say, well, he's not scoring like a first round pick should be scoring. Well, he wasn't playing in a lot of scoring roles. He's playing on a very deep, structured Minnesota team. He was being used as a third line defensive guy, penalty kill. He wasn't put in a lot of situations to score goals, and he still had nearly a point per game.
And he said yesterday when he met, and by the way, that whole both Moore and Renzel, the entire interview sessions from yesterday are both up there on our YouTube channel if you want to check that out. But Moore said, like, when he's asked why you made the decision to turn pro, he's like, I felt like I was dominating in Minnesota. And he's like, I know I didn't get any Hobie Baker nominations because I wasn't putting up big numbers, but the game was coming easy to me in all aspects. And, you know, those are little things of like we're talking about. It's not just putting pucks in nets or, you know, picking up apples. It's board play, you know, positioning on the ice, speed as compared to your opponents, hockey knowledge, all those sort of things, hockey sense. He felt that he was ready.
And hockey dollars.
What's that?
And hockey dollars.
That too. He is a very humble kid. So for him to flat out say, like, I was just dominating, it was time for me to make the jump, I think that says a lot. All right, we're going to be back in a moment. Got to hit the break zone one more time. Do us a favor if you've not done it already. Hit that like button for us. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. And if you haven't voted for the Game's 4-star yet, do that. We're running that poll right now, and we'll reveal the winner at the end of the show. Back with more on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show, powered by Bet365. And some days, winding down feels just impossible, and that's when I reach for my THC gummies from our friends at Cornbread Hemp. I've been looking for a healthier way to enjoy happy hour, and these THC gummies from Cornbread Hemp have been perfect for that. I have not been doing well with booze lately. This makes me feel tired, makes me feel worn out. I'm getting old, need something different. If you're tired of that feeling, you're looking for an alternative to alcohol, Cornbread Hemp makes THC gummies to help you enjoy the fun without the guilt or regret skis. After a long week, there's nothing better than a chill night with friends, and these THC gummies from Cornbread Hemp make it even better. They're America's only USDA organic THC gummy made with real THC and organic ingredients, no synthetics, 100% legal, and it ships directly to your door. Perfect for unwinding, kicking back, and enjoying the moment without alcohol or the hangover. If you're looking for a healthier way to enjoy a carefree moment, you have to give Cornbread Hemp a try. Right now is a special offer for CHGO listeners. You can get 30% off your first order. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/CHGO and use the promo code CHGO at checkout. Again, that's cornbreadhemp.com/CHGO and use the code CHGO for 30% off your first order. Cheers to a healthier, happier hour. And we want to tell you about our friends at Ray Chevy in Fox Lake. They've got auto show deals going on right now. That means the latest vehicles you've been looking for are now priced with huge auto show savings, like $11,000 off MSRP on new Chevy models, or check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000 with one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. You're sure to find the perfect vehicle for you, and it's one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest. They're able to keep their prices competitive, so you know you'll get a great deal. Plus, Ray's price promise lets you shop confidently because a guarantee of no add-ons, no hidden fees, and no gimmicks means the price you see is the price you pay. You don't have to worry about price changing, stressful negotiation, or any tricks. The people at Ray Chevy just want to help you get into the right vehicle at the right price. See for yourself. Go visit them at their convenient location right on Route 12 in Fox Lake. And don't miss out on their auto show sales event going on now. Be the star of the show and take $11,000 off MSRP today by shopping Ray Chevy in Fox Lake or at RayChevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive. Right. I know we've got some super chats we got to get to as well here. One from Storytime Wonders says, how many games before we see Levshunov not handling the puck on the power play? He does not look comfortable.
Probably won't worry about that until October. Why the hell not right now?
Yeah, let him work it out.
8 games to go. And frankly, who else are you going to put there?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
fine.
if you want to switch Rinzel up there,
sure,
okay.
Put him on the second power, but this is the time you use. Sure, he's made some mistakes out there, but he's 19, learning at the NHL level. It's not going to be perfect. So what better time to get some of those growing pains out than the last 10 games of a lost season, as opposed to have him trying to figure it out in October, November next year if he's up here in games that might actually matter. If you're gonna try and upgrade and make not saying be a playoff team, but at least be what Utah is this year, you can't give away games early in the year. So better now.
Yeah.
There's no reason to like, so what? You have a turnover on a power play and gives up a shorty in a game. Now
big deal.
Now is the time to get the mistakes out of his system.
He's also, like you said earlier, Greg, when you talked about Korchinski last year on the power play being very literal, and I have to do the slingshot play, so I am doing the slingshot play. Levshunov, especially with the language barrier, is probably doing exactly what he is coached to do. And sometimes you need to develop that context to know, all right, it's not here right now.
Right.
The play's not there. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to take it myself. We've seen him do it a few times, a handful of times. As his instincts come and he builds confidence in the system and his knowledge of the system, he's going to be fine. Again, trust what you're seeing. Trust your eyes. Don't focus so much with these young guys on the individual mistakes. Look at the whole picture of how I'm glad you mentioned our conversation with Bruce Miles, where he says, when I see a young guy scared, I know they're not going to fit. He's not scared. He's aggressive, and maybe to a fault sometimes, and he'll learn to kind of tamp that down a little bit and use it in the right context. But I have no worries about Levshunov. I don't really have any worries about any of these young guys. It's just a matter of how good will they ultimately be, and can they hire the right coach to maximize what all of them have to offer.
Yeah, and they're also going to improve as the forward group improves and gets better, and they spend more time in the offensive zone than the defensive zone. And you get some guys in here that plays better defensively as forwards as well. All that stuff fits together. But yeah, they have definitely wanted to build this thing from the goal out. All the defensemen drafted. Levshunov over Demidov last year. Then you go out and you get that goalie in Spencer Knight. Drew Comesso's looked really good since coming back from an injury in Rockford.
Scott Powers wrote about that today, by the way. Check that out.
Maybe this whole, hey, Arvid Soderblom has a chance to be here long term, maybe that's not the plan anymore. All these things are fluid, but you see it all the time about people already down on Korchinski. He's 20. He's so raw still. Maybe it should have been Renzel and Korchinski swapped, where Renzel goes 7 and he can be a plug and play guy, and Korchinski is the long-term guy. Like, not saying that that's where they would have slotted on the draft, but the mindset.
Yeah.
Korchinski is definitely a longer-term project than Renzel has been. But you don't give up on a 20-year-old defenseman with his ability just because he's not your number one defenseman already. Like, every player, especially a defenseman, takes a different path and longer time to hit their potential. Now, if something happens this summer where you try and make a trade to get yourself an elite forward to play with Connor Bedard, and it's going to cost you a Kevin Korchinski to get it done, well, that's just the price of poker.
Right.
But we shouldn't be up here grandstanding saying Kevin Korchinski, he's getting passed up by all these guys. He's a bust. That's asinine at this point.
To remind everybody, Duncan Keith was drafted in the 2002 draft. Went back to Michigan State for 15 games, then went to Kelowna, won a championship there. Then 2 full seasons with Norfolk, 75 games in 03-04, 79 games in 04-05. Then joined the Blackhawks for the rest was history.
But his first couple years was Kevin Korchinski-esque.
Yes, his first year, 21 points, minus 11, 31 points, 32 points, then started coming into his own as the team did. 08-09, 44 points. Then it was 69 points. Then he started, that was his career high, by the way, in 2009, 2010.
I mean, that's the perfect career high score, isn't it?
But I would refuse to do anything
Especially
else.
for a defenseman.
But it just, I think when you look at the body types of Korchinski and Keith, in terms of bulk, similar, right? Keith was 6'1", I think he was listed at 202. Korchinski right now is 6'1", 185. Is there 20 pounds of muscle in Kevin Korchinski to come? I would say so. Like I'm not saying he's skinny, but he's not in his full NHL body yet.
He's not even done growing.
Yeah.
He's got to fill out. Nothing but time for Korchinski and his development. And the fact that you have guys like Levshunov and Rinzel who, have passed him on the depth chart organizationally, that's okay. That just gives him even more time to develop. That's less pressure on him, because if you don't have those guys taking the spot that was kind of left aside for him, then there's more pressure on him to succeed. Having those guys here, and if they continue to develop and are NHL players, that's less pressure on Korchinski and gives him more time to develop. It is not time to start,
No, what
it's silly. It's
I
silly.
would say almost like when you look at Levshunov and Rinzel, they're more the outliers than Korchinski. What Korchinski is going through is typical. It's very rare for a 19-year-old, aside from the, very top of the draft or elite prospects, to come and have this much NHL experience under their belt already. It was a good circumstance for him where he can come and play last year because they weren't trying to win anything. It was a developmental year for the team and for him. So fine, come play the season, spend most of this year in Rockford. If he spends most of next year in Rockford too, it should not set off any alarms for anybody.
No.
And especially when you look at the game that he brings, right? He is more offensive minded. You look at a guy like Del Mastro, who is more defensive minded. For him to come in right away, he can play his game, using air quotes, more quickly, because he's going to be shut down. He's going to be physical. He's going to be, he's going to be more focused on his own zone. With the offense that Korchinski's bringing, that will take a little longer to come. So there's nothing to be alarmed about. I'm glad he's here now. Someone in the chat said he should be sent down right away. Why?
He's being rewarded. He's being rewarded for playing well in Rockford, which he has played well.
Yeah, and not griping about it when he probably could.
And he'll be back down there before the playoffs.
Yeah.
Him and Levshunov and Del Mastro, they'll all be back when Rockford gets in the playoffs. But Rockford is pretty much locked into that fifth or fourth spot. They're not going to get to third. They're not going to fall out. So, not having them there is not hurting Rockford. And a couple of people have mentioned in the chat, there's the difference. You see the difference between Renzel and Korchinski. Korchinski got screwed by the CHL rule, and had to come and play in the NHL when he obviously wasn't ready to be a full-time NHL player, where Renzel got to go his post-draft year. He went to the USHL. Then he went 2 years in Minnesota, where you're playing in a, NHL development factory. I mean, look, Brock Faber is a Minnesota Golden Gopher, and he jumped right into the NHL, no problem.
And that's who Sarvelli keeps comping Renzel to.
I'll take it. And so that just goes to show you the difference between the going to the college. That's why so many more talented players are going the college route, more so than ever before.
Yeah.
Because you're playing fewer games, you're getting great development, and especially if you go to one of these top programs. That's why a guy like Sasha Boisvert at North Dakota is like, if you're not excited about what he did there, and then knowing he's got a full off season and another season to develop again an elite program, it's exciting. But that's the difference. Korchinski got put in that tough situation, couldn't play in the AHL, but it really didn't make a ton of sense to go back to the WHL, where Renzel got to play at the proper level for his development each step of the way. So that's why he looks more NHL ready than Korchinski does, but that doesn't say Korchinski isn't going to get there.
Yeah, I think it's also we're starting to see more high-end hockey prospects go the college route. I think kind of for that reason, right? They want to get that higher level, that opportunity if it presents itself. Like I don't know, it's interesting. I know that I don't really have a full grasp on the changes that are coming in that rule.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how it's going to affect more of. It's not going to affect the NHL rule yet. I know I do believe they are going to try and talk about that coming up in the next CBA. Obviously, the NHL wants to get rid of it, but the CHL doesn't. But it's like, at what point are they? Like, I get the whole history of the CHL, but you're the NHL. Tough. The kid's good. He can go. Like, they need to get rid of that rule.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
I agree.
I don't know why the NHL is worried about if the Sarnia Sting can sell a few more tickets every week.
I get it. You want to keep those leagues healthy because they are such a huge lifeblood. You do,
but you also need star players in your own league.
I think they mean so much to those little towns in Canada, though, that it's, they become a lifeblood. But I don't think that, like you said, the folks in Sarnia aren't going to stop going if there's one fewer NHL prospect on the
exactly. Team. Like it's so. But I know the NCAA CHL thing I think has more of players, because I believe before, once you played in the CHL you couldn't go to college, and now that's changing. I believe that's what the difference is, and if you have played in the CHL you can go to the NCAA where before you couldn't. You could definitely have gone the other way around, but I don't think you could, because I believe technically you get paid in the you get like a
stipend,
and I guess in the NCAA that's considered not being an amateur.
Well, I think that's what's changing it though, because now you're getting the
now the NLL, so now that's so
maybe we'll get a college hockey video game out of it. That'd be fun.
That'd be great.
A couple people hung up in the chat about my Korchinski Duncan Keith thing. I'm not saying that Kevin Korchinski is going to be Duncan Keith. My point was that even the greatest defenseman in Blackhawks history needed a few years in the minor leagues to get to that point of their career.
He didn't come out of the box a Norris Trophy gold medal winner. No, it took time to get there. And it also took a really good team around him to help him get better too.
And some people talking about, how would Connor Bedard look different had he gone to college? And like Derek King said, you got to coach the junior out of guys, and I think we're still seeing that a little bit with Connor Bedard.
Saw another one of those blind backhand passes across the ice today.
Yeah.
It got through, but yeah, that it's happening less frequently.
I agree.
But it's still happening too much.
I feel like it's happening as the younger guys have joined the team. It seems to be happening less, and I don't know if it's a talent thing. The team's got a little more natural ability on it than it did before, but I don't know. It is less frequent, but there's still once or twice a game where you just groan at a decision that he makes because he's trying to make a highlight reel play out of dog crap, and it's just not there, and it will never be there. Never. That play will never be there in the NHL. And he'll get the message eventually. But overall, I've liked his game a lot better today. Better lately. Again, he had an assist in this one. 4 shots on goal, 7 shot attempts, won 7 and lost 3 faceoffs. Like, that's the kind of game you want to see. When you're looking at the box score after 60 minutes, those are the sort of numbers you want Connor Bedard to have on his score sheet. So that's good. That's encouraging. And it's obvious that there is so much more to come from him. That if it's this good already with Bedard, when you think 2-3 years down the road, damn, it's going to be, especially if they are able to get a Mitch Marner, a Kirill Kaprizov, or whoever the super free agent they're able to add over the next couple of years is. Look out, because it's going to be exciting. And I don't know, like I've said this a lot lately, where the final score doesn't really bother me. It's how do they look during those games, and I asked you the other day, have they been playing their best stretch of hockey lately? Again, you look, the smoke clears at the end of the game, and things are pretty even. There's They didn't give up 93 shot attempts to Utah again, which is good.
Right, that's an improvement. But yeah, it was evenly matched game through 2 periods, and then the third period they kind of ran out of gas. It was a lot of youthful mistakes made, and again, Utah knew how to score on the Blackhawks. They were well scouted. Yeah. They figured it out. Shot from the point. Get some movement in front of Soderblom. We're gonna get some goals. And the Hawks needed to be a little more simple at times. Sometimes there were too many times they'd get the puck in the offensive zone and then try for that extra pass, where Utah was like, "Screw it, throwing it on net. See what happens." You get 5 goals.
Couple comments rolling in post-game show. These from Phil Thompson. Oliver Moore says it was a really fun experience. Definitely something I'll never forget. Sam Rinzel says, like Oliver Moore said, as a hockey player, you want to win, so that stings. But overall, it was an unbelievable first game. Very cool to see those two guys take the rookie lap together. And they try to, pass back and forth to each other. And they had some, if you missed it, some of their teammates were up against the glass cheering them on. That
ex-teammates.
Yes, and our buddy Windy City Hockey, who made the trek again from St. Louis. His dad wearing a Boris Mironov jersey today. That was a new one.
Good thing Pat Foley wasn't in the building.
Yeah. But got a great video of those two coming out of the tunnel. So check it out at WC Hockey, HAWKEY on Twitter. And I think we shared it from our account as well. So, yeah, it was just a cool moment. And the more of these rookie laps and the more of these impressive performances from these kids, the more fun it is to think. I mean, even next year, it's going to be so much more enjoyable as from a viewing and from a coverage perspective than this year was.
Yeah, for sure.
And Rattler Man says we can say the trend is we're getting better. So there's that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Like it's trending up. And the fact that the age is trending down and the game and the performances are trending up, that's a really good sign.
It's much better to watch this team lose 5-2 with Frank Nazar and Kevin Korchinski and Sam Rinzel and Landon Slaggert, and the list goes on and on, than watching them lose 5-2 with Taylor Radish and Mackenzie Entwistle, Sky Point, and Andreas Athanasiou, guys that you knew were never long-term fixtures here. And now you're seeing the guys that were drafted to be the new core and the group that's going to put this team back in the relevancy and contention. You're seeing them here. You're seeing them be the difference makers, good and bad in the game. But it's just more exciting to see those losses with that group as opposed to, oh, great, here's Jack Johnson, the defenseman. Remember him? Here's Jujhar Khaira. Like, none of that stuff. That stuff was just bad and terrible to watch.
Filler.
But now you have all that stuff that was promised to you. We're getting a small taste that it's coming and it's here and it looks good.
And keep in mind that it's very likely that their best prospect is yet to join this team. In June, whoever they pick at 1, 2, 3, or 4 is going to probably be, aside from Connor Bedard, the highest prospect on the team. Like, that's still to come.
Right.
And there's another first-round pick this year if they don't trade the Toronto pick. Like, it's not – it doesn't just stop now. And that's Kyle Davidson's idea is if it gets to the point where, well, we can't afford everybody, you've got more first-round picks coming through the pipeline. You're just refreshing and refreshing and refreshing. And that's why I've talked a lot about Dallas. And you look at that way where they've got a good crop of veterans, guys towards the end, your Sagans, your Bens, etc. But as they are aging, you've got young players working their way into the lineup so then they can become the new core. And then when they get older, they'll have a new crop coming through.
That's how you keep a window open.
That's how you do it.
Right.
That is how you do it.
You have to say goodbye to one of these beloved players because they're just getting too expensive. We have a talented young 22-year-old coming up who plays for a fraction of the cost that allows you to keep guys that you want to keep together. It's
so if he who shall not be named, we can say Stan Bowman, Oilers GM Stan Bowman, doesn't give Brian Bickle a bad deal. He doesn't have to trade Teuvo Teravainen to get rid of it, and maybe didn't have to do that.
I will say, at the time, that was not a bad deal for Brian Bickle.
It was not. He had earned it.
Hindsight gives you clarity.
I also don't think let's relitigate this 10 years later, whatever it is. You probably didn't have to give up Tavo to get rid of Brian Bickle, but okay.
That I'll agree with, but we'll see. Yeah. That's all right. He's here. It's like it never happened.
He's back.
Time has been erased.
Thank God. But yeah, that's the idea. Just keep them coming. Keep those young players coming. All right, Sarah, are we ready to name the 4-star of the game? I know you are doing, and by the way, I'm watching you work. Our screen in front of us, we can see Sarah getting the Cubs show ready.
Yeah.
Did the Cubs blow that lead?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they lost. It was 10-6, and they lost it because of Eli Morgan is the worst pitcher. Some pitcher that I've never heard of in my life.
Never trust anyone.
Get rid
Eli.
of him and just blew. We were winning 6-2,
apparently,
and then in one inning they just.
Well,
lost.
I saw you were making the final score graphic.
Right, I had all.
It was 6-2. Then it was 6-4. Then it was 6-6. It was 8-6. Like, what is going on?
And then I had to change like everything.
The thumbnail was all the homers or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
I knew things couldn't be bad.
And then I see Sarah goes back to the thumbnail, deletes the thing and says blown lead. I'm like, what?
I literally had everything ready.
I knew things got bad because Cody got quiet.
Yeah, no, they got very quiet back there. Yeah.
All right. Well, they're going to be up in a few moments, but let's name the 4-star of the game here. It is, I'm going to guess, Sam Rinzel. It is Sam Rinzel.
All right.
Great debut for Sam Rinzel. Just a glimpse of what's to come. Again, 1959 of ice time, 4 shots, 6 shot attempts, 2 hits, and a giveaway. Oh, send him back.
Bust.
Back to Minnesota with you, son. But a really solid game from him.
And
so
number 6, that's
4-star.
a solid defenseman, number 2.
I hate number 6.
What's wrong with number 6?
But he's got to make it his own, you know?
Can't have number 5.
No.
Not this year.
We were 2 in Minnesota. That's not going to work.
I thought he wore number 5 at Oh, yeah, you're right. He wore 2.
But where am I at? Like 22? 20?
I like 6.
I don't know. Maybe just because there hasn't been a great Hawk that wore 6. Like Phil Housley is the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Was Michael Barinka number 6?
Michael Soroka was number 6.
I think Kevin Dean was number 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you might be right there. Yeah, there hasn't been any great number 6s. That's why it works. Be the first great number 6.
I'm looking it up.
Because, like, you know, part of the problem with Seth Jones, Seth Jones took grief for wearing number 4 when that was Nicholas Jarmelsson's number.
A lot of guys have,
a lot of guys have worn it, just none of them have been very good.
Wow. Good thing Mario's not here. He'd kill us. Jake McCabe wore number 6.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Latest Hawk to wear number 6? Shea Weber.
I was going to say, I asked you earlier in the box. I was like, did Sam Rinzel have to buy Shea Weber a Rolex to wear his number 6?
All right, Shea Weber, Jake McCabe, Oli Mata, the ageless one.
Our buddy who we saw today, our buddy Chris Dubier, who did a fine job on the PA.
Great job,
today,
Chris.
Says Bob Murray was number 6. Okay, there's one good number 6.
Okay, Bob Murray, Oli Mata, Cody Franzen, Michael Kempney, Trevor Daly, Adam Clendenning,
not Soroka, Kemke,
Michael Koska, Sean O'Donnell, Jordan Hendry, Magnus Johansson, remember him? Little guy. Lasse Kukkonen, Jaroslav Spacek. I thought he was 3. Maybe he switched.
Maybe,
I think he was 6 the second time around.
Yeah, he had 2 stints here, yeah.
Anton Babchuk, who I was convinced was going to be better than Duncan Keith.
Let it play out.
Phil Housley, Kevin Dean, I was right. Sylvain Cote, Remy Royer, Anders Eriksson. Thought he was 8.
I thought he was 8 too.
The other Michael Sikora. Oh, that's getting bad. Gary Suter wore number 6 for 1 year.
Did he? I don't remember that at all.
No.
He was good old number 20.
Len Frigg. That's a great name.
What the frig are you doing out there?
Lou Angotti might be the most accomplished.
Yeah, Bob Murray.
Yeah, Bob Murray would be the one. All right, well, you know what? Sam Rinzel,
all right.
It's all you, buddy.
Our graybeards are yelling at us for not mentioning Lou Angotti, but
he's in there.
Recent history has not been kind to number 6 in Chicago.
Yeah, Lou Angotti stopped wearing it in 1973. I was negative 4 years old.
I was negative 6.
Yeah, so sorry.
Right. Sorry, I didn't remember a guy that played before I was born.
A couple of other quotes here before we wrap up. We are going to get out of here right on time. What's our time crunch here, Sarah? All right.
2 minutes.
Andrew Sorensen on Rinzel. He says, if you watch Rinzel, his mentality of attack and just advancing pucks with his feet, those are attributes that are at this level really positive. And you can see that for a first game. That was pretty impressive to watch. This from Ben Pope. Again, Sorensen, there have been times in the last couple games where you see we're doing some really good things. Then when we have a little hiccup, we have a hard time stopping it after that. But a lot of the young guys are doing a lot of good things. Yeah, again, you had 2 goals in 31 seconds today. That has happened. I stopped logging that like around Christmas, where it was either a goal scored like under 2 minutes after they scored or consecutive goals against.
Right.
It was in the 20s at like Christmas.
Right.
And I just stopped caring.
It's probably doubled by then.
It's insane.
And you had it today.
Yeah.
Utah scored their second and third goal 31 seconds
31 seconds apart. That's not good.
On the same exact play.
Yeah. All right. We're going to be back tomorrow. Me and Greg. It is Monday. We're going to do a mailbag show.
Yeah.
So we'll put the tweet out later tonight. If you are a diehard, hit us up in our members-only Discord. If you'd like to become a diehard, go to allchgo.com. Scan that QR code on your screen to join. allchgo.com/join. Not only do you get access to our members-only Discord, you'll get a free shirt or hat the moment you sign up. You'll also get 20% off all of our merch beyond that. All of our takeovers, watch parties, tailgates, everything we do, golf outing. We've got some golf outings to announce coming up this summer. We're going to have at least 2 of them, so get ready for those. You'll save on those. It really is a great deal. You get a free shirt. You go to an event. It basically pays for itself, and it helps us keep things going here at CHGO. So we would love to have you as a diehard, and we'd love to have you join us tomorrow for Mailbag Monday at 2:30. And again, remember, Wednesday at 2:30, we're going to talk to Alex Vlasic, the old crusty veteran on this team. Old man Vlasic.
Yep.
He's going to get his oat bran and his prunes and join us at 2:30 on Wednesday.
Tell us all about. He can tell us all of the memories he has of being paired with Lou Angotti back in the day.
Yes. By the way, you pointed this out. Rattler Man says, "Hey, Sorensen actually had an argument with the ref today." Wow. Your conspiracy theory. You
that was put on CHSN on purpose because he took a beating in the last few days for not doing that. So he did it, and CHN was like, "Make sure you put that on there."
The argument cam.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for being with us, everybody. CHGO Cubs are next. Make sure you're following them on their own YouTube page. We're all starting to do that. Cubs did it first. YouTube.com/CHGO_Cubs. Follow them there. Watch the post game. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.